Are we literally tripping? Like, what's going on here? Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna do a song discussion, but no. Look, hear me out. I just listened to Blackout Seesaw, and I need to read these words because I am so confused and concerned. No, but before I start talking about the, oh my god, no, I because I forgot to do this in the unboxing. I just wanted to appreciate and congratulate Alkaloid on having a full album, right? And just how much I've mentioned how much I love them before, but in the Valkyrie video, but up to like that point, I had, so the only unit that had 100%, let's say, hit rate with me song wise was Valkyrie. I love every single one of their songs. Close would be kind of Undead and Akatsuki, because again, those were the two units that I liked immediately when the game started, before Valkyrie even existed. Remember those days? Fucking. But even then, it's like those two units, it's like maybe like 90% hit rate. Valkyrie was 100%. And then Alkaloid came along, you know, when the game split, them and Crazy Bee were debuted. I was like, oh, what's this? I mean, they look interesting, but they're also a rock group. Like, isn't Undead a rock group? No. A different rock. They sing about completely different things. They have, of course, a different vibe. The Undead's more of the, you know, vampire. They have the darkness aesthetic, and they keep talking about darkness, but they're really not. Alkaloid does not look like darkness, but they talk about they're very depressing. This is just struggle rock. But I've come to appreciate them, and I love every one of their songs. So, two units with 100% hit rate with me, absolutely love. To me, at least. I know there are people who don't really like their style, which is, you know, that's the beauty, isn't it? We have over almost 50, almost 50? Oh, I know it's over 40 for sure. Over 40 characters and so many units that there's someone and there's music for everyone, which is great. Like, I feel better knowing that every character has a fan out there somewhere, and all the songs are liked by someone out there, because otherwise I'd feel really bad. But yes, this fucking song. Oh my god. We'll get to the lyrics. But the sound of it, I just want to talk about the general sound of it, which again I mentioned in the Valkyrie video at the end. I was freaking out about it. It's definitely a TK baby. It's you know what it makes me feel? It makes me feel like when they went to TK, like, and this is just how I'm imagining it went, but it's like they're like, can you pretty please write a song for us, Mr. TK, please? And because from what I've heard from the if anyone watches the Kuapi Studio videos on the Trip albums, when they request composers who aren't in their circle to make songs, they tell them, you know, we want the song to have this kind of image, to feel like this, and like this is the theme and the characters, blah blah blah, right? So they must have told TK that, like, this is the theme of it, you know, this is, yeah. And then I imagine him going, oh yeah, I'll write a song for you, but it's gonna be all me. I'm gonna write the words, I'm gonna mix it, I'm gonna do it's all me. And I'm so glad. This is immediate. Like, this man has such a style. You hear the first 2 seconds of the song and you know it's a TK song. Everything is so him. Like, the way it's mixed, the instruments, the lyrics. We'll get to the fucking lyrics. It's just very him. So, we'll talk about those first few seconds of the song. which, I mean, overall, there is an emptiness in the song. It gives, without even listening to the words, it gives a sense of there is a vastness, there is a vast emptiness, and you're being suspended, whether that's in water or in the air, which is good because the song does mention both of those. It reminds me of, like, what's that song for that anime that I never watched? I think it was no. Is it Chono Tobu Suiso? Something like that. Chono Tobu Suiso. Which, funnily enough, Suiso also sounds like seesaw, but that's not what that, no. It was for a show called, or do we just call it Pet? Because it's PET. Do we just call it Pet? But it was an opening for that show. I think it's Chono Tobu Suiso. I should have looked this up earlier. But it was like a combination of that and the emotion the emotion in it reminded me kind of Catharsis. That was one of the Tokyo Ghoul songs, which is, Catharsis is such a good song. Oh my god. That shit makes me cry. But yeah. And I liked how, and not just with the instruments, but with the way the voices are, they sound, it's very echoey, right? It sounds, and I saw those Japanese comments. I saw the disrespect, and the top Japanese comment for the digest for this album was like, it was something like, did you record the lead song in a bathroom? It was something like that. And I was like, why would you say that? Don't say it like that. It's a TK song. You know exactly how this is gonna sound. Come on, please. And then, oh my god. And then in like the second, or was it the digest or whatever? But there was like a second video about the Trip album, and then there was another Japanese comment that said the bathroom thing, and then someone was like, "Oh, it's a sauna, guys, please." I like it. It adds to that sense of we're in this vast space, and it's dark and empty and lonely, and everything's bad. I like it. I think it helps, but that's just me. Maybe it's if you think they recorded it in a bathroom or a sauna, that's okay, whatever. but yes, we'll get to the lyrics. So, I think I heard right, but there's also the thing that Japanese lyrics love to do, which is they are saying one thing and it's spelled another way. There's like hidden meanings and shit, right? So just in case I'm not missing any of that, we'll go. Is the light fine? I turned one light. Okay, because it's still cloudy as fuck. New York's been so rainy. Oh god. But yeah, there we go. I don't know what blackout seesaw means. I think this is me, because there's no mention of or like imagery of seesaw anything. I think it's just a pun, because seesaw would be pronounced shiso, right? And if you say blackout shiso, it actually turns into I think I'm about to black out. Like that's what it means. So that I choose to believe that's my religion. I believe to I'm gonna think that's the case. Because I don't know how else to explain this title. What does that mean? I'm going with that. That's my explanation. Anyway, I'm gonna go through all of this, which I did not do in the Valkyrie one because I was talking about like all the songs, which I'm not gonna do this time. I'm not gonna talk about the other solo songs because I've been too traumatized is not the right word, but I've been slapped in the face by this song. Like, this is, I think, I'll be honest, I haven't listened to every single song that Ensemble has, but I've heard a good number of them. I don't think any of them have lyrics this unhinged. Not to say that this is the most unhinged thing I've ever heard. I mean, composers like Kikuo and Neru exist. Kikuo and Machin Erita, right? They exist. But in ensemble, I don't think, despite the lore, we don't really do this. So this has been very interesting. But yes, so I'm gonna go through all this. It's, I don't know how the lyric videos are translating this. I don't really watch. But the way I translate, there's like so many disclaimers going on. So the way I translate is because I had a really weird linguistic upbringing. Half the time, not all the time, half the time when I'm hearing or reading Japanese, I'll be translating into Korean in my head first. And if it sounds weird in Korean, well, it might sound weird in Korean because that's a different language, but there's like some mismatch going on in my brain when that happens, because that I don't do that purposefully. It just I Korean. But, and also, like, I'm not aware if there's any super modern Japanese thing happening linguistically. I wouldn't know much about it. I don't really know that many Japanese people at all. I grew up learning Japanese from someone who was born in like the 20s. So that's what I grew up with. I grew up with very, very old and a somewhat kind of Korean version of Japanese. So I was stuck with that until my mid-20s. So I'm just saying, like, that's why I also don't tend to translate. Translating and localizing are two different things, right? So I try to translate as literally as I can, as weird as it would sound in English, so that you really, like, it might sound weird in English, but you still feel and understand what's trying to be said originally. Like, I want people to not just hear with your ears and try to logically figure out what it means. No, I want you to, like, feel what it means, right? Because the feelings are not bound by language. So I want, I can try and maybe smooth it out if I can, but I'm not one to do. I'm not a professional. Look, I'm just someone here, right? But all right. Let's see if I heard right. So we start off with, yep, that sounds right. ダイヤルを回して、あの頃のアドレスへ, which I don't super know. It's a very interesting first line. I was interested by it, but I don't know what it means. And I'm not going to try too hard to understand what all of this means. By the way, I'm just going to try to make sure I heard right and then continue to be concerned. But, alright, so that sounds like it could be, you can translate that by itself and then separately from the second line. Because some of these things, like half the chorus is gonna be like, sure, it's like separated, but it's supposed to be like one long sentence. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like that. But this can be by itself. So that is just like, turn the dial to the address of that time is what it literally is saying. I don't know what that means. What dial? I mean, a dial is, the first thing I think of is like a lock, but we're not talking about locks. Like a time dial? You're turning back? Well, there is a lot of like thing about time kind of in the song, so are we dialing back? But what address? What are you talking about? I don't know. Let's not think too much. My brain is not developed enough for this, but let's go. Well, what's the next line? 快感も自由も見えないくらいに見えた. Oh, yeah. So this kind of confused me. Because, if I were to translate this literally, it'd be like, oh, I could see the pleasure and freedom enough that I couldn't see it. Like, what does that mean? To say that you saw something enough to not see it? Whatever, I'm not gonna think too much about it, but that's what it's saying. I'm just saying that's what it says. I'm just the messenger. Don't. What's the next part? We got だんだん僕を巻き戻していく. Okay, so that's like だんだん is like more and more, and then I'm being, or it keeps rewinding, I guess rewinding, it keeps winding me back basically more and more is what it's saying. And then この世界に触れたあの日のように. So I'm going to assume, because both Japanese and Korean are very like context heavy, like assumption heavy languages. If we're putting all this together in one sentence, it would be like, it keeps winding me back like that day I touched this world. Again, there's no pronoun here. The only pronoun is, well, the boku in here is when he's talking about, and it's sung by Ida, when like I'm being wound back. But in the second line, この世界に触れた, like what is touching the world? Me. I'm gonna assume me. So just like the day that I touched this world, which 触れる, like the common translation is to like touch. It's not an aggressive touch, because there's 触れるand then there's 触る, right? 触れる, it has more of an image of like a, you know what I mean? More gently, but also it doesn't have to mean physical touch. It can just mean like come in contact with, not physical contact, but like, experiencing. Which kind of makes it sound like we're aliens here. I don't think that's what this is. But if you want to put it that way, it could be like, just like that day I experienced this world. I don't know, it sounds like you're being born or something. I have no idea. Like, let's not think too much. I'm tired and I'm dumb. But we got that. And then, だんだん僕がこぼれていく 闇へ誘うもの. Oh god. Okay, so this is where it starts to get depressing. So, first part, だんだん僕がこぼれていく. It's spelled interestingly, because the standard the verb こぼれる would be spelled not like this, if you can see it. It looks more like 溢れる? I mean, that's the same meaning, to overflow. So, and then 闇へ誘うもの. Okay, so if you put this all together, it'd be like I overflow more and more, or I keep overflowing, whichever one you like, being swallowed up by this thing, in quotes, which means it can be like incompetence, incapability, inability, because like the mu means no or none of, and no is ability, right? So lack of ability, whatever English word you see fit to, I'm going to use incompetence, or incompetent, yeah. So I keep overflowing, being swallowed up by the incompetence that invites me into the darkness. Oh god, that's just, I don't know what the whole thing about overflowing is, but being consumed by how much you think you're not capable, and you're being that sounds very, like, literally depressing. Not just sad, actually depressing. Holy Jesus. But Mayoi, though, great character to sing that, because Shigematsu is so good. Look, I have my own personal issues with the character Mayoi. Like, Mayochin really has to chill. But he has, to me, in my opinion, the best singing voice in Alkaloid. I love all their voices. All their voices are very different, so it's like a nice mixture of like, oh, he's like the really solid one, right? He's the solid one, he's the cutesy one, he's like the soft, normal one, and then he's got the depth, he's got the vibrato. Oh, I love his voice so much. But yeah, he's right, no me konate, right? And then the next part, right? Who's singing this? It's Ida and Mayoi. Oh god, okay. So, ねえ星をそこから見える僕は変わったかい. So, first of all, linguistically, I like that he uses kai instead of just ka. which he does in his other songs as well. It has a really nice rounded feeling to it, because I feel like if you were to sing this without the E and just the ka, it feels a little too abrupt. It feels a little too sharp. Like, I like the round feeling, the round sound of kai, so that's nice. But it's saying 네 호시요, so hey stars. Hey sounds so weird in English, but that's kind of like the only way to translate the feeling of ne. Like, you're calling out to the stars, right? But the only way to say that in English is hey, which sounds so rude, but you get the gist, right? Like, hey stars has this, okay, so this is gonna again sound weird in English, but bear with me. It has the me you see from up there changed. So that's what it's literally saying. I think for a more like aesthetic translation, you would say like, oh, hey stars, do I look like I've changed from up there? Or something like that. You know what I mean? But you get what it's saying. Like, you're asking the stars if it looks like you've changed from where they're standing. Which sounds really sad. Aww. And then 내 호시요 야미노 나카데 강하게 I can't read. 강하야그 히미츠 오시에테. Oh man. The way, okay, first of all, it means, hey stars, teach me the secret the secret that is shining inside the darkness. So that's pretty straightforward, right? Hey, it's editing, Jian. So I didn't want to put a wall of text, so I'm just gonna say this here. But because of grammar, an alternate reading of this could be, teach me the secret to shining inside the darkness. So I'm just putting that out there, that's also a possibility. Okay, carry on. But the way they sang, because this whole part is quiet, right? I mean, if you've heard, you know how quiet this whole part is up to this point, right? Because this is where it really fucking it's quiet up to here, and then when they say oshiete, it's like they're louder. I mean, not just because the notes are louder, but because they're louder, it sounds more desperate that they're asking to be like, tell me, right? And then there's whatever they're saying between this part and the blackout part, there's no lyrics for it, so I have no idea what they're saying, if they're saying anything at all. I was hoping to know, but okay. So that was nothing. Again, I feel like not literal seesaw, but it's maybe supposed to be the Japanese shiso, like blackout shiso, which, again, would turn into instead to mean I feel like I'm gonna black out, right? Which I feel like makes more sense. I don't know. Also, don't come for me. Look, don't come for me for my pitch accent. Again, my linguistic upbringing is weird, so I'm trying, but don't come for me. Anyways, we have blah blah blah. That's all English, and then blindo. So that, I like the rhyming. I like that it's supposed to sound like seesaw, kind of. That just means blind. Literally, it says blindo, and then thoughts. That might just have been for aesthetic purposes. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But there it is. And then we have this part, which I don't know. Because this form of verb can either be a command or it's linking, or it's like a linking. I don't know how to explain it, but it's either that or it's not a command. Because, I mean, I doubt the lyrics are like telling you to black out. So it's either that or it's describing like that I am blacking out or we are black, whatever, right? The singer. I don't know what's going on here. That might be for aesthetic purposes because it does sound nice. I mean, I don't know, because it is a real word. It is a real word in English. It's usually for PR purposes, though. And I don't think that's what this is. There is the word when you're saying, they're giving me flack, or I got flack for this and that. But that, I think, is usually spelled without a C. Unless people are spelling with a C these days. Like, I don't know what's going on with English in modern days. I don't fucking know. But that flack would mean more like, when like someone criticizes you, and not in a good way. It's like they're giving you a hard time kind of criticizing you. Like, if you're getting flack, it is not a good time. But I doubt that's what that means. It might just be for aesthetic purposes. Then we have whiteout. And I don't know what's going on here. Like, what's an error? It sounds really nice. Aesthetically really great. But what's an error? What's going on? Or is that just for aesthetics? I can't tell. But finally, the chorus. We have 誰かが僕を笑っている体中に耳がついちゃって I don't know. I feel like this can be separate, right? Like, I feel like this... Well, no, this doesn't have to be together with this. This part can be separate from the rest of this. But basically, this part, 誰かが僕を笑っている, I'm gonna assume it means someone's laughing at me. And I say assume because the particle used after boku is wo. Unless that's correct, and I'm just tripping right now. No. Okay. I think I'm like tripping, and this is actually correct. Either way, it makes more sense if it's someone's laughing at me, right? Which does not sound like a good time. But also, and this is the case with Korean as well. The word for laughing and smiling are the same. So to English speakers, it's like, well, we have two different words, and one of them sounds way meaner than the other in this context. Because if it is smiling, I mean, smiling sounds nice, but laughing sounds like you're being ridiculed, right? Which I'm assuming is the case here, because the rest of the song just... So yeah, someone's laughing at me. 体中に耳がついちゃって. So that's very interesting imagery, because it means there are ears all over my body. It's just... I like... What? I mean, okay, wait, hold on. Let me continue. ノイズな雨を降らしてよ心が乾くから. Alright. So, that I'm just kind of thinking back to what I heard when I first listened to this. So my body's covered in ears, which I think it's obviously not like literally, but you're like sensitive to everything everything that's going on around you. ノイズな雨を降らしてよ僕が. Okay. So that means send over a rain of noise because my heart is dry. Now, I think in English, if you really wanted to, like, localize this, you would add my way after when you're saying sending over something. So I guess it'd be like, send over a rain of noise my way. That sounds more natural in English, because my heart is dry. Now, the verb kawaku can also mean to be thirsty, to thirst, but it's not spelled that way here. So it's spelled for the word to be dry. So, I mean, even if it did mean thirsty though, like, it does not mean the same thirsty that English does. It does. Calm down. But yeah, because my heart is dry. Oh, that's so sad. And then it gets even sadder. どれだけ君とつながって孤独が包み込まれて And then I need to continue this. 不安の針が心を刺してちくりふわり God, I can't read. 僕は they sing it as chu ni shizumu. To me, this is all like one long sentence. Kind of. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be. But, okay. So, it's like, no matter how connected to you I am. So now there's two people in this song, the singer and whoever this person is. I don't know. No matter how connected to you I am, and again, I'm going to assume my solitude, because there's no pronouns suggesting whose solitude or loneliness, but I'm going to assume my solitude is wrapped up, which sounds weird in English. I would probably say it's like an enveloping and embrace, because if you're connected to someone and you're cared, like that emotional, like, embrace, you know what I mean? Blah, blah. So that was that part. Juan no hariga, so that's the hand of anxiety pierces my heart. And hand as in like a hand of time, a clock hand. Because in Japanese, the word for that and like needle is the same. But we're talking about clock hands here, I'm assuming. Like, where will we get the needle from? But a hand of anxiety pierces my heart, and then chikuri is like when something is like a sharp poking, prickling feeling, like a stinging thing. So I would just say like that it stings. And then huari in contrast is softness. So, and then boku wa chu ni shizumu, so that's I sink into the sky. I mean, because it's not using the more common word for sky would be sora. That's not what's written here. This is actually the way Sora, the character, spells his name like this. I mean, it could mean sky. It could, but it's not just specifically the blue sky as we know it. It can be just the air, right? Space. Either way, you're sinking upwards is the image I'm getting. So this whole thing is, I mean, like the whole chorus is someone is laughing at me, there are ears all over my body, send over a rain of noise my way because my heart is dry. No matter how connected to you I am, my solitude, no matter how connected to I am and my solitude is embraced, the hand of anxiety pierces my heart, it stings, and softly I sink into the air. Let's say, the air or sky, whatever you want to call it. That is just very like you're with someone who cares about you, and you're not lonely, but you're still so anxious. What is happening here? Why are they singing about this? I thought this was gonna be a struggle song about, I don't know, their journey, because it's trip, right? There has to be some sense of traveling or something, right? Like their journey through being like an idol, because they're like the underdogs here. It doesn't sound like, unless it really is, and it's just extremely emotionally detailed. But we continue. So that was the chorus, and then Mayoi opens up the second. Oh, Mayoi sings so good. So this, okay. And mind you, if I heard right, it gets worse. So let's see. That says, あざ笑い色の入れ墨が消えなくて and then ふやかしてぼかして僕はI'm okay, alright, so this is, again, it's gonna sound a little weird in English, but the mockery colored tattoo won't disappear. And if I were to say this, I'd be like, it wouldn't disappear, comma, so, because of the conjugation. Because this implies there's Oh my god, how do I explain this? Like, whatever comes after this verb is happening because of what's happening here. Does that make sense? Like, that's what the conjugation kind of implies. So whatever's being said here is going to be happening because of this mockery colored tattoo, which doesn't sound pretty. Jesus Lord. So we got Ida singing fukashite bokashite boka. Okay, so that's like when you like soak something. Yeah, that's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it more like underwater soaking, like submerging soaking, I think? And then, because I don't hear that word often in real life, honestly. And then, same thing with bokashite. Bokashite is like when you make something blurry, kind of obscure and blurry. And since we were talking about the tattoo earlier, I'm guessing that is what we're doing to the tattoo. Because it won't disappear. And you're trying to make it disappear is what I'm getting out of it. Right? And then Tatsumi sings, Boku wa aimaina, so I am a vague fake star. What? What does that even mean? Like, okay. Because the only mention of stars up to this point was when we're asking the stars what about ourselves, how they see us. So, what? This just sounds very depressing is what it is. So, the mockery colored tattoo wouldn't disappear. So, I'm assuming that I am the one doing this. It wouldn't disappear, so I soaked and blurred it? And now I am a vague fake star. Huh. That's okay. But then we move on and it gets further worse. Hiro sings, Hagashite, hagashite, dobogoi. Oh my god. And then Mayoi says, kitsuite, kitsuite. I love this part. Linguistically, and also the way Hiro sings hagashite, hagashite. It's, again, because this is like a quiet part before the chorus comes in. He is singing it quietly, but it's because of the way how his voice is. It's almost like he's whispering desperately for you to tear off. Because that his line means it says, I say tear it off, or it can be rip off. You know, that kind of action. Ripping, tearing. Tear off what? The tattoo? Because, it can also mean to skin. So I'm not doing that. That just gave me that violent imagery of Hiro asking me to, like, tear off the part of his skin that has a tattoo on it. I can't get that out of my head. It just makes me so sad. Oh my god. But, and then I lost my place. Oh, there we go. I love this line because of the repetition. It says, kizuite, kizuite, do kizu ga sake. I love that part. But the meaning, oh my god. My wounds screamed, realize it, realize it. Realize what? What is there to realize? What? What are we trying to realize? I don't understand what's going on. But also, the way Mayoi sang Sakenda, oh, it's so good. With the added, like, the effect of it echoing it sounds so nice. God, Shigematsu is so good. Okay. Anyways, we got that, and then we got this part, which interesting, the nehoshi part, except we start off with, it says nehoshi yo, so not hoshi, hoshi, which is not star, but is it means when like you want something basically. I was trying to I thought I could explain like the fact that it's not a verb. Hoshi is not a verb. Hoshigaru is a verb. Hoshi is a adjective because you're using it to describe something you want. Or no, oh my god, I shouldn't be trying to explain this. This is not a language lesson. Okay. Either way, it means want. That's the important part, right? He's like, hey, I want, and then we're gonna describe what we want here. It says, I can't believe it gets worse. 僕だけが光る空. Because they do pronounce it as sora, but it's okay. Sora no mishitsu. Nga. Okay, so hey, okay, so I think I should this. It says uchu, like universe, but they're pronouncing it as sky, like sora. So do we want to say what they're saying, what they're like literally saying, which is sky, or do we want to go with what's printed, which is universe? I don't know. But it says, hey, I want a secret room in the sky / universe where only I shine. Now this concerns me because mishitsu can mean secret or locked room. It's that kind of, a room that's like separate and like locked and secret, that kind of thing. Why? But this image of a secret, locked, separate room is more concerning because of the next line. Oh god. Right? The ne koko ni oide already, I'm just like, 二人だけのいびつ夢見て, oh my god. Because of the way the sentence structuring is in Japanese, like they got to hear and I was like, okay, that's weird. And then they sang this part and I was like, oh no. So, right. So this says, hey, come here. Dream of, so dream as in like you're telling someone to dream. This is like a command kind of thing. Linguistically, it's a command, right? Dream of the distortion of just us two. Which and I say distortion because ibitsu is actually the same word that Mika used in his solo song to describe his own state as a piece of art. And in that instance, I had translated it as misshapen because he was talking about like architecture and sculptures. And in the context of art, that would mean distorted wouldn't be the right word. It would be a misshapen piece of art, right? But here, it's distorted, messed up. It generally messed up because what? So wait, so you want, okay, so I'm trying to make sense of this. So there's the singer, us, the singer, perspective of the singer, and this other person who we talked about in the other chorus who cares about us very much, apparently, right? They were telling the person to come here into this separate, secret, potentially locked room in the sky where only I shine. Because there seems to have been a lot of like self-esteem issues, and now we're like, I want this room where only I'm the one that's shining, because of course, again, fake star and all that, so there's a lot of the self-esteem going on, inadequacy going on. Dream of, come here and let us, and let's dream about just not even let's be messed up together in this room. It's like, let us dream of this distortion in this room together. This is very just like, I don't know why, it gave me like what's that series, Future Diary vibes. If you know what happens, at the very, very, very end. It kind of reminded me of that. Not that that's that's actually happening, but it reminded, But also what I really liked about the word ibitsu is that it rhymes with himitsu, which is the word that was used in the previous section, that exact placement. So I really liked that it rhymed. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. And we're not even at the chorus yet. So that was that. I mean, I hope it's getting across why I thought this was kind of shocking to me. Because I was assuming up to this point, they're like, oh, okay, we're sharing in this messed upness, but to tell someone to just dream about it, we're in this dream fake, I don't know, it just sounds really weird to me. And we got that part again, and then here, the end in quotes for whatever reason, the end will moso. So moso is normally a noun that means stuff like, delusion, fantasy, that kind of thing, right? But because it is preceded by, or rather, the end is marked by this particle that the wo particle is for indicating objects, I'm going to take this as a verb, even though there's no suru or shite or anything after that. So that would mean, what does that mean then? Fantasize about the end. Why? The end of what? What are you talking about? I'm so worried. And then we continue into the next one. Yeah, that's the same. Nothing different there. And then the next chorus, which is this part is the same. 誰かが僕を笑ってる. Someone's laughing at me is the same. This is a little different. 世界中には目がついたって. So that means the whole... Oh my god, there are eyes all over the world. But not like... Oh my god, how do I explain this? I know it's not saying literal... Because when you hear in English, there are eyes all over the world, immediately you think of, figuratively, as if everyone's watching you, which I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But the way that it's worded, it makes me think of literal, eyeballs stuck all over the world, right? Same thing with the previous equivalent here with the ears. The way that it's worded, because of the verb tsuichatte, because that's when something is, on you, right? That gave me the image of ears physically being all over the body. But of course, that's not what it means. Right? There's eyes all over the world. ノイズで脳を満たしてよ。痛みが消えるから. Okay, so that's fill my brain with noise because the pain will go away. Well, no, not because that doesn't make sense. Because made sense in the previous chorus. This is more like, fill my brain with noise so the pain will go away. Right. That's correct. Okay. And then the rest, どれだけ君とつながって, that's the same, no matter how connected to you I am. 孤独, yeah, that's the same. My solitude is embraced, enveloped, whatever. 不安の針が刺してる, so yeah, that's the same. Which is the hand of anxiety pierces my heart. It stings, and softly I float into the sky. Again, it's that word that is not specifically the sky, but it could also mean space, air, that kind of thing. Huh. Because before it was we were sinking into the air, the sky, whatever. Now we are finally floating up there. What does that mean? That is progress, but what is this? What does this mean? But I also love how they sang that, the way it goes, because the way the word sounds to begin with is it's a very round sound, and the way it transitions. Oh my god, how do I explain this? I don't know. I feel like it just blends into just what the hell? Okay. It just blends really nicely, and it transitions into this next part really well, is what I'm trying to say. I just really like it. Auditory, it sounds great. And then the next part, 消えないものを求めて目を閉じたら君が溢れてきて外触れ合う. Okay. This part I'm not really sure about. Because it's just like, oh, when I desire something that doesn't disappear and close my eyes, you overflow and gently touch me? I don't quite understand what's going on. Like, this now, okay, now we want something that won't disappear. Because up to this point, we've been talking about things that we want to go away. The tattoo, the noise, right? The pain. But now we're looking for something that I don't know. Right. I lost my place. All right, there we go. ここにあるたった一つの奇跡の. See, this is where I got really, I'm not even showing it. This is where I got really confused. Because this is, I didn't know what I was hearing, but it's the word suso, which I like because it sounds like seesaw. But how do I explain this in English? Because suso, and I can see that it's spelled here, if you can, I don't know if you can see that, but, and then それだけを掴んで光に落ちていく. Okay. So, because suso is like, you know, like, imagine, like, there's, like, scenes of kids, like, grabbing onto, like, their parents' clothes or something, like, the bottom of their shirt or whatever, or, like, something like this, right? That's what a suso is, like, that hem. You know what I mean? Of, like, the bottom hem, the edge of something. I think it can be described to describe, like, the edge of hair as well, but first and foremost, the imagery is, I don't think we're grabbing anyone's hair. I think it's the clothes. So altogether, it'd be like, it was after, yeah, ここにあるたった一つの, so, the one and only, I guess, the hem of miracles that is here, I grab hold of only that and fall into the light. Again, extremely clunky in English, but that's so weird. I mean, you don't have to say, like, hem of miracles. That sounds really over the top. You can say miraculous hem, or either way, you know, something of miracles. That's, like, who are you? I mean, there's only one other person in this entire song other than the singer, so I can only assume that these clothes belong to the other person, like, you're grabbing onto them for, I don't know, hope or some shit. I don't know what's going on, dude. But you grab onto that and fall into the light? Because now we're falling. Right before this, we floated up into the air, and now we're falling into light. But this is the first mention of... This is the first line that's anything close to positive-ish. So, at the very end of the song, this is where we get some sort of... not depression, I guess. Huh. I mean, the image I get is, like, someone holding on to, you know, the clothing and stepping out into, like, limelight or something. But I don't know if that's what's supposed to be meant. Dude, fucking, I don't know. I'm just someone who's reading this. It's interesting, though. Hey, it's future editing me here once again. Because, well, I, again, didn't want to put a wall of text. But I just wanted to mention, oh my god. So, it feels like, and this is really similar to his other songs too. I mean, the first thing that came to mind was, again, catharsis, but there are other, I think Chono Tobusi So also kind of does this at the end, where most of his song sounds like it's in darkness, and then, what is it, during the last chorus, that's when it feels like the song is opening up and there's finally lights coming on. I don't know, I just really love that. The fact that you can feel that through the way the instruments are and the way they sing it, and it's so good. And I just wanted to rant about that. That's it. back to the yeah. Well then, and then we got that part, blah blah blah, and then kakse shiso, which is this is exactly what I thought. Focus, please. This is the word that I think this is supposed to be like a pun of. You know what I mean? Because kakse is awakening, so this would mean I feel like I'm about to awaken. I think I'm about to awaken, right? And then yeah, the rest is the rest. What? What is this? Okay, I mean, I'm not surprised that, like, how do I say this? These lyrics are very TK. the the feeling, the words used is very TK. I've heard some of this stuff in his other songs as well. So the fact that it's coming from him is not surprising. I just don't know what this has to do with my boys. I might be missing something about the lore. I don't know, dude. Fucking, I mean, to be fair, Valkyrie's Shukufuku no Library wasn't really about them personally. They were just singing about a fantasy world, right? I think it's, as long as a song has a sense of like traveling or some sort of journey trip, like I think that's the whole gist, right? This is like, is this like an emotional trip? Like, are we literally tripping? Like, what's going on here? I mean, we're blacking out, apparently. We're blacking out, we're whiting out. Whatever flack means, we're doing that too. And what's an error? What's an error? Are we in a coma? Like, what's happening? I mean, I liked it though. Again, it was not the most unhinged set of lyrics I've ever heard. I feel like there's a lot of like, again, what I call like aesthetic lyrics in here, which I mean, look, I like the style that TK has with lyrics, and it's not just for the meaning. There's more to lyrics than just the meaning. It's also how the words sound and flow with the melody and the instruments, how it all comes together, right? How it's sung, all that, which I mentioned some of throughout this, like the way that some of the characters sang the certain words. Like, that's what I mean when I say I like the lyrics. It's not just the meaning, but if I really feel like some of these lyrics are just there to be aesthetic, because I got a big feeling of, Hiroyuki Sawano does a lot of this. I think a lot of his lyrics are just like, they sound good. Like, they sound good when sung, but the meaning is just like, what? Still though, I really like this. Like, I already loved how it sounded, because I love TK's music to begin with. Him and his band, Rinto Shite Shure, very good stuff. And those two do have different styles, despite the fact that he writes songs for both his solo thing and as part of the larger band. I just love it. I love his work in general, so I knew I was gonna like this, but hearing and confirming the lyrics afterwards, it does concern me. I don't know what's going on. I'm not gonna presume to know why he wrote the lyrics this way, like what's going on in his head, and I don't want to be like the English teacher who thinks they got it all figured out. I kind of hate that, actually. So I don't try to go too much into the meaning. But I have like a newfound or a deeper appreciation for the song. I really, really like this song. And it's just so very him that you can imagine exactly how he would sing this. You know exactly how he sings all these lines, where he would whisper, where he would have his more louder and solid voice, where he would like kind of let go of his voice during the high notes. Like, you know exactly at which point he would do all that. It's so good. I love it so much. Thank you for this song. I really like that the song exists. I love it so much. I love it so much that I've been talking about it for almost an hour. That's crazy to me. And now I'm getting, this is why I'm not gonna talk about the other songs, because I'm now getting I feel like I'm upside down. I feel really weird. So that's it. That's it. I'm leaving you with that. Yeah. I see you in the next part of the Alkaloid trip week thing that I'm doing. Whatever. Bye.